The Galaxy XR is the headset I really wanted to love. I've been a long-time Samsung user, so I was genuinely excited when they announced this headset. On paper, this checks almost every box on an enthusiast wishlist. High-resolution micro OLED panels, pancake lenses, eye and face tracking, and wireless PCVR support. But after spending some real time with it, my feelings are mixed. The whole Quest Pro problem all over again. This headset has a rigid halo strap just like the Quest Pro, but unlike the Quest Pro, this headset doesn't have a battery on the back to act as a counterbalance. Instead, it uses a battery pack that's tethered to the headset. But because the battery isn't on the back of the head strap, the headset is more front heavy. I get around 2 hours of battery life with single charge on the battery, and if you're gonna be pushing your headset hard, that battery gonna last you around an hour. And if you want a longer session, you will need to charge that battery with a wall plug or battery bank. Wearing this headset after around 30 minutes gave me a headache just like Quest Pro did. All the weight is being distributed across the small forehead pad. The pad that comes with the headset is better than that hard pad for the Quest Pro, but it's still quite rough and hard on my forehead. If this headset comes with an optional top strap, the comfort issue wouldn't be this bad. Right now, I'm using a forehead pad from Tech. It does help a bit with the comfort, but you can also get the top strap from him if you want a more even weight distribution. I believe that VR comfort is very personal. There's no one size fits all. That's why we have so many third-party accessories. Each person has their own preference of what they find comfortable to wear, so it's very important to have some modularity so that the user can customize the headset to their comfort. But unfortunately, the Galaxy XR does not follow that, and we're stuck with this rigid halo strap. I'm sure there will be some third-party accessory that will alleviate this problem somewhat, but the options will be limited, unlike the Quest 3 or the Vision Pro. The Galaxy XR has very good displays, a bit higher resolution and looks sharper than Vision Pro. The micro OLED panels have around 17% more resolution than the Vision Pro panels. It's not significant, but it's still noticeable when using. But we all know that specs aren't everything when it comes to VR headsets. Lens quality plays a big part in delivering those visuals from the displays, and I have some mixed thoughts about those lenses on the Galaxy XR. Lenses have slightly less glare than the Vision Pro and quite good edge-to-edge clarity like the Quest 3, but it requires adjustment to be in the sweet spot. With the higher resolution displays and better lens clarity, the headset can produce a very clean and sharp image, even when you're not running at full resolution. There are distortions on the edges of the lenses. When I try to look over the right or left, one of my eyes can see the distortion while the other can't, and that really threw me off. It took me some time to figure it out what it was that made me dizzy when using this headset until I looked at the wall of text while moving my head. But this is different for everyone, because distortion can affect someone that's more sensitive to distortion while being completely fine for someone else. In my experience, I definitely feel the nauseating effect when using it, but after an hour, the distortion doesn't bother me as much anymore. While you can get used to the distortion, it's still something I prefer not to see in a $1,800 headset. It feels like a mild barrel type distortion, especially towards the edge, and it can be uncomfortable if you're sensitive to it. For me personally, the vertical FOV is better, but horizontal FOV is less compared to Vision Pro. Overall FOV feels very similar to Quest 3. Vision Pro has more horizontal FOV but less vertical. And again, these values are the ones I get with my face shape and forehead pad. Yours might be higher or lower depending on how close you are to the lens. The speakers on this headset are able to get quite loud. They sound poor with the Vision Pro, but the Vision Pro does have more bass to them. I feel like these do need some tuning because at higher volume, they start to sound a little grainy. And this is the microphone test for the Galaxy XR. Hand tracking just isn't reliable, and it's a damn shame because this device relies a lot on hand tracking. Tracking quality lags behind Quest and is far inferior to the Vision Pro. Quest has better tracking and recovery. Vision Pro has really precise hand tracking no matter the lighting and a large tracking volume due to many of the sensors. You can buy the controllers for $249.99 if you want to use them for native games or PCVR. Since hand tracking is not that great, you would expect it to be at least good, like the Quest, right? Nope. This controller would try to fight and run away the moment they leave the tracking range or the cameras can't see the tracking dots on the controllers. I lose tracking the most when my hands are at waist level, and fast movement feels like the controller are dragging behind, like I have spaghetti arms. I feel like this is all because the controller lacks a good prediction system like many other competitors. Lighting sensitivity is also a big issue for this headset. Normal indoor lighting is not good enough. I get warnings to improve lighting condition almost every time I put on the headset, even though all my lights are turned on. I have used many different headsets from Meta, Pico, HTC, and Apple in the same room, and I never get warnings about the lighting. The boundary and space tracking feels unfinished. The headset doesn't remember the floor level properly, so I have to recalibrate it almost every time I use it. There's no play space setup like the Quest. You're forced into this like stationary circle, and there's no good warning system when you get too close to objects. With the GalaxyXR, you basically one swing away from breaking something. Face tracking seems comparable to Quest Pro, and a bonus point for the GalaxyXR is the tongue tracking. This has full tongue movement that are very similar to the OG Vive face tracker, just minus the tongue curl. The Snapdragon chip on this headset also struggles when it's using PCVR with virtual desktop. At monster resolution, the headset really struggles with 90Hz. It gets choppy and the latency keeps going from playable to unplayable, but the experience is way smoother when it's set it at 72Hz. But if you want to keep that 90Hz refresh rate, you will need to lower the resolution. When it's being pushed too hard, you start seeing white artifacts and the fans blasting. I experienced this while playing PCVR and stepping out of the boundary, and the pass-through comes on. And the worst I experienced was having my view completely bugged out as if I'm upside down. Can't even go back to the home menu or quit virtual desktop. My only option was to unplug the headset for a restart. However, there's a workaround that makes a huge difference. If you disable performance policy inside the developer menu of GalaxyXR, it allows the chipset to run more aggressively. Before I did this, I was getting massive network spikes, sometimes jumping from 50 milliseconds all the way to 300 milliseconds. I think these spikes are related to thermals because every time I take a screenshot or screen record, the network latency spikes again. But after disabling the performance policy, those spikes are almost completely gone. I sometimes see a spike to like maybe 12 or 15 milliseconds, but that's nothing compared to 50 to 300 milliseconds I was getting before. And for the minor occasional network spikes, there's a workaround by disabling location services, Bluetooth and Wi-Fi scanning. It actually makes monster resolution playable at 90Hz and even smoother at 72Hz. But do this at your own risk, because this will increase thermals and could affect the headset later on. The most frustrating part about the thermal issue is that they are preventing you from seeing how incredible these micro OLED panels are. Just when the headset does want to work, it is an absolute joy to use this. Running Skyrim VR with H.264 at 600 megabit per second with monster resolution preset has never looked this good. The visuals are jaw-dropping. It makes me want to just stare at the night sky or even the texture on the wall due to how sharp and clean the image is. And I'm pretty sensitive to compression, but at this kind of bitrate, I can't spot any compression at all. This kind of image quality is so good that it looks like a wired headset. And the experience just got a lot better because Virtual Desktop just pushed an update that adds foveated streaming. I tested this new update and it improved my latency quite a bit. I went from hovering around 50 to 70 milliseconds down to 20 to 40 milliseconds. I swapped back and forth with the GalaxyXR and my big screen beyond throughout my playthrough in Skyrim, and after spending a ton of time in there, can confidently say that Galaxy XR has better image quality even when the Beyond is a wired headset. Can't see any compression at all, and when looking in the distance or complex texture in the game, the latency is very good. If they can fix the thermal throttling and tracking issue, this will be absolutely the best wireless PCVR headset you can get right now, whether you just want a headset with face tracking or not. When you look at the total package, the amount of money you have to spend looks scary. You're looking at $1,800 for the headset, another $250 for the controllers, plus the cost of third-party accessories just to make it comfortable. And that's gonna be over $2,000. For that kind of money, you are getting visuals that are absolutely incredible. But you're also paying to be their beta tester. The software is buggy and thermal management is struggling to keep up with everything. Many of these performance problems are known by Google, and minor problems are being worked on by virtual desktop devs. So I do expect things to improve. But right now, a really hard recommendation. I genuinely want to love this headset. It's exactly what we've been asking for on paper. Amazing micro OLED panels with eye and face tracking in wireless form factor. But in reality, this headset is still undercooked. And for $2,000, it needs a lot more time in the oven. And as always, thanks for watching, and here's a good night kiss for the homies.